What up? What up? What up? This is Mike the Philosopher along with the panel here about uh relocating to another place. Now, Sean B is going to be joining us later with his second question. This is part two of it. But let me just say this. Yeah, it I like a lot of their traditions. I like a lot of the ways that Uganda did things, and I don't think it's just exclusive to Uganda. I think it's probably like that all over the continent, really. But I did notice it there, and it's probably a little bit more prominent in Uganda probably than in some other countries. Other countries, I think, like maybe South Africa, are a little bit more liberal. Hey, Black, did you know that there's a trend going on in South Africa?
What kind of trend?
The women there are marrying more than one husband.
What?
Yeah. This thing is trending in South Africa. Polyandry, where the women are taking on more than one husband. Why? I'm intrigued to know because I'm not altogether sure what purpose that serves.
That don't serve any good purpose.
Not to us. Now it might to the woman because she has access to two men's income and maybe her own or whatever. But not only to to the men, but to society, it just doesn't make sense. And let me say this: the reason why it doesn't make sense is because there are more women than men.
Right.
It only mathematically makes sense for the men to carry more than one wife just by the numbers alone. Just by the numbers alone. If there is no other reason for polygyny, which is one man and multiple wives, it is the math works with polygyny. The math goes against polyandry. So why they deciding to make this a thing in South Africa is beyond me.
Yeah, it don't make no sense. I don't like it. I don't respect it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to second that motion, bro, because
Yeah, because a woman, listen, genetically, biologically, a woman has one egg that she has access to per month, right? That
right,
one egg, genetically and biologically, can, be hit with sperm and it can, produce life, but that's one shot per month, right? One, right? So it makes sense for her to have one man.
and
Now the
then once
man,
and then once she's pregnant, she's there for 9 months, so she
nine
can't
months.
have another one
Yeah, she
within those
done.
9 months. She done.
Yeah,
So I almost, and then you got to extend the time to when she has birth and breastfeeding all this other stuff. You probably going close to a year.
yeah,
Now I've heard of stepchildren. I know you know all about stepchildren, but
right.
we're talking about at least a year where she's out of commission. That don't
Yeah,
happen with the men, right?
yeah, yeah. Now the whole time, she's incubating this baby. And, meanwhile, you got several million, several hundred million sperms that, you have access to per day
Right,
versus one,
right,
versus one. Either one of those, not to be too graphic, but we're adults. Either one of those sperm cells can produce life, several hundred million,
right.
So, I mean, the numbers, when you talk numbers, it's 1 to 100 million. Uh, I don't get why you need almost a billion in the
Right.
form of having multiple men to fertilize one egg. You know,
You know, and
it's actually the other way around because of there's more women on Earth. than there are men anyway. Men are in the minority on the earth.
Right, right. In some corners of Quebec, they're doing that too. So, uh, um, they are having it where the women are marrying more than one man, and it is what it is. They're doing that in South Africa now. Again, I cram to understand the 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 sense that makes. To me, it makes zero sense. Like Black just described, the sperm. She can only get pregnant once, and then who's the father? But it will be. I think what they would do is they would consider it a community baby, and it would be. They just say it don't matter who the father is; it's all community. So, and I have so many problems with that. I mean, men like to know if they have fathered a child. I mean, most men will like to know if they have fathered a child. After all, that's instinctive in every male. Instinctive in every male. They want to know if they've fathered kids or have a what you call an heir and a spare. That's what men look for. If you're if you're the third husband of a woman and she gets pregnant, which should happen practically every chance that she gets, I mean, you know then who's the father? It could turn out that one guy is the father of three men all the time, and he would have fathered all the kids, and the other guys would not have an heir, and they would live out the rest of their life without an heir. That is ridiculous to me. Now, to some women, they might think, oh, well, that's cool for me to have more than one husband because I get access to all of their money. I get pregnant. I have three soldiers to protect me, protect and provide. It's a win-win for me. Meanwhile, her sister, her sisters all don't have a husband. She have
Not
10
only
she have 10 sisters, all of them ain't got a husband. Just
Right,
her,
not
and she
only
got
do
three
they
of them.
not have a husband, but it's already a shortage of men, from what I understand. So if she married multiple of them, she just being dang greedy.
Greedy.
Like
That's really what it
that's
is.
just
That's
that
really
don't
what it
it
is.
just don't make no sense. It just
Now,
don't make good sense. Bottom line.
let me be the advocate here. And the women say, well, what about the men? If they want to marry more than one woman, ain't they just being greedy? What would you
Well,
say?
you got to look at it again from a biological standpoint. There's more of them than there are us, numbers wise. There's more women on earth than there are men on earth. So if every man on earth married one woman, there would still be women left over. There's an
Mm,
excess, there's a surplus of women per ratio. So there's more women to go around, right? So now that is unfair, actually, for them. That's unfair that if every man married every woman, some of y'all gonna be left out to dry with nothing,
right.
right? Now, if men are being kind, men would say, you know what? I'll let you share me, right? You can share me. Both of y'all, like two of y'all, can share me. I'll let y'all share me out of the kindness of my heart, right? Now,
Yeah, right.
then they can share, and then, we can still keep this life thing going, you know,
Hmm.
but it don't work the other way because the numbers don't benefit us. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
More
right,
women, more life, more dudes. It don't work the same.
right, right. And plus, the men, we can grow families faster if we were in polygyny. situations, we can grow the family faster. We can have multiple kids, multiple wives can be pregnant at the same time. So instead of one woman being locked up for 1 year with 3 men, one man and 3 women can have 3 kids around the same time.
Now,
And
see, the
then,
numbers do line up, but not. But at the same time, the caveat for me explaining this perspective is the fact that I don't necessarily agree with the
polygyny.
totality of polygamy as we know it. I don't agree with it as we know it today.
What are some of your disagreements with it? I mean, you made strong points for it. So now I'm wondering, what are your disagreements with it?
Well, as opposed to the other way, as opposed to marrying multiple men, one woman, that's the perspective I'm speaking against mainly. So I'm defending no. If anything, it should be one man marrying multiple women, if anything. But I don't necessarily agree you're supposed to do that either. I know there's, some biblical references where it was condoned in the past and people would argue. And I've heard some very knowledgeable experts in bibliography explain in no uncertain terms, hey man, you can do that now if you can afford them. But I myself am not of that belief. I don't believe that. I believe it should be one man, one wife,
But
and you create a family. That's what I believe.
But here's the thing, though, Black. Polygyny is as old as monogamy. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
So it's funny to me how people are so monogamy, not like. First of all, monogamy ain't working. It ain't working. Divorces are at an all-time high. Men all practically always cheat, or there's infidelity. Even women, some of the women are starting to do that now, and it is not working. If you look at now, I'm gonna go scientific on you. If you look at the animal kingdom, okay, if you look at gorillas, you got one silverback. He got all access to all the women. You look at the lions. He roll with a pride. He don't roll with one chick or one lioness. He roll with a pride. If you look at the animal kingdom, okay, even chimpanzees and bonobos and all that other stuff, monogamy doesn't exist. It was a made up thing by European people to, and the thing is, they made it into a law here. Okay. Now, I would say, especially in Africa, polygyny has thrived and kept the people alive there. Okay. This is why Africa is one of the fastest growing continents on the planet right now, is because of things like polygamy, because you can get more women pregnant faster. And not only that, but there's another tradition that they have, that if your if your brother passes away, you take on the wife as the surviving father. They do this in Muslim communities too, I believe. Or what's that one? It's a religion here, like the Quakers in Utah or something like that. Oh, not Quakers, but
yeah, that's actually in the Bible too. That's a lot of stuff you're bringing up is recorded in scripture.
yeah, it's older than monogamy. So I find it odd when people say, "Oh, monogamy is the way to go," when the success rate is practically less than 25%. I mean, about 70% of marriages end in divorce. Okay. 50 to 70, I would say.
Yeah, I mean it's tough being married. It's tough being married to one woman. Because there's a lot of demand, on each side actually, from time to time. But that's not to say that the structure of it is at fault. It's people's values have changed. There's been an ongoing relentless attack on the institution of marriage. I would point more or less to that, to say, okay, now two men can get married. Now two women can get married. Now you can marry an animal. Now you can marry a child. Now you can marry a monkey.
What?
You can marry whoever you want to marry because the laws have changed. The values of the institution of marriage has changed. There's no respect on the name. And it's like it's a free for all and nobody respects it no more. So if somebody can't constantly make you happy, then you look elsewhere for happiness.
Don't you
And
think?
it's like, bruh,
But don't you think that's a setup though, man? Because they know that your relationship gonna fail. They're gonna make
no,
money
they
off of
they
you.
they they make sure your relationship fail, and they
Yeah.
flood the market with all the thoughtaciousness, and they give you instant gratification when you pick your phone up or when you look at your laptop or when you look at TV and videos. And I mean, they create these false narratives in societies and these images to where nobody real is going to live up to them 24/7 for long. You'll burn yourself out. You'll go crazy trying to live up to these Cardi B images and all the images that they got off of these young girls, especially. It's like, man, I don't know how they making it. That's why depression is at an all-time high for these girls, because they like, man, I'm supposed to keep my baby hairs going, and there's always a new trend. Everything is a trend. It's trendy. Like, you got to keep up with all this, man. Listen, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah,
Of
but
course, it's gonna end a divorce
that's what I'm
because it was
saying.
built on fictitiousness. It was built on fakeness to begin with.
Exactly. It was built on a Disneyland fairy tale, and once the fairy tale is once you wake up from this dream, then you go file for divorce. And more than half of the marriages are doing that, and it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
So,
And it's always one side that's going to cater to the other one until the point where, hey, I'm going to put my foot down now. And now I'm going to stop catering. Then it's like everything changed. And, what's going on? You change. It's like, nah, I just quit playing that game. Like,
yeah,
I'm not here to make you happy all the time. It's now I'm going to do me. And then you're going to have to accept that. And when you don't want to accept that, it's like, oh, I see you don't want to accept that. Okay, so it was one-sided in the beginning when it was all about you, but now it's about me. Oh, you ain't with it. Okay, I see what it really is. So call me what you want. Say what you want. I'm
right.
finna rock with what I'm on now. I'm finna
So,
do me now.
right.
And then
So,
people call you selfish.
yeah, right. So
It's a situation.
imagine going to another country, man, with a whole nother understanding. You live, your money stretches long there. The laws of marriage are changed. Um, you have traditions and things that you never experienced before, like I spoke about earlier in the last video. And you just have a whole new life, man. Imagine this: you go to a country, not you. We'll say Malachi, okay? And he um, goes to another country, and I'm not saying he'll do this, but this is just an example. He goes to another country. He's a digital nomad. He makes about 10 times what the people at the in the country make, because he's getting American money. He lives a baller lifestyle. He can then have two, three, four wives. I know he said he'd only have two at the most, and I understand that. So he got two wives. He got the money. He can afford them. He can afford a maid to clean the house and cook and stuff, while he travel with his wives to the to shows, to clubs, to whatever, um, and just live a lifestyle that is not even possible here in America unless he's a millionaire. Now he's not a millionaire, but he could live like one, and he can marry like one. He can even date like one. He can just and not only that, if he's in an African country, he ain't got to worry about police like he do here. He ain't got to worry about being hated every place he go. He ain't got to worry about social norms that the normal African American has to worry about. Do you know how much your mindset, you know how much your mind would change with that new lifestyle, that richer lifestyle? You know how much your stress levels will go down. You'll probably actually extend your life
Talk to him.
if you were doing that. You would probably extend your life because you don't have the stress hormones dripping all of the time and causing you, like Kevin Samuels died from a heart attack because he was stressed out trying to figure the matrix out. But if you pop the red pill, you get out of the matrix and you live a different type of life. You can live longer. You know, no shot to KS because I respect the man, but he was, I think he was unlocking the matrix, but I think he was unlocking it too well, and I think there's some suspicious circumstances upon his passing. That's what I think. I think he unlocked it too well. I think maybe powers that be knew what he was trying to do, and they like the chaos. They like the divorces. Why would they want us to get back together? Why would they want Black families to get back together and build wealth? They don't want that. Now, this is all conspiracy theory. I'm not normally a conspiracy theorist, but you know, right now I'm opting for the red pill, and the red pill says,
I'm trying to tell you, man. Now you're coming over a little bit more and more to the red pill side, where bro, things is happening behind these curtains that people are not privy to. But if you have eyes to see, like I said, listen, man, you're gonna see it a different way, and you're gonna call the game different from the field, the vantage point you sitting from. You know what I mean? A person who's sitting in the nosebleeds is calling a different game than the person who's sitting on a 50-yard line on a football game, and he's sitting front row. Or in NBA, you got floor seats. You're gonna call a different game than the person in nosebleeds. So it's what you see, and it's what you understand from what you see. We can see the same thing, but have different perspectives. Listen, man, there's some definite theories out here, and some of them are just happen to be conspiracies.
You don't have to mention his name, but I want you to speak more on your friend you said that was in the Philippines. Tell me what he was saying about being there.
Well, I know Filipinos for one. I lived with them for, about a year and a half or whatever when I was working in the oil field, and I was neighbors with them for a lot longer than that. So I know how they move. I know how they live, these particular people, and they had a large family. And, the conversations, from multiple other Filipinos, it coincides without them even knowing it coincides. The stories they telling, how they live, the hospitality, they big on hospitality. Very hospitable people, very courteous people, very nice, family-oriented people. They just, they all about family. They all about cooking big meals for you. They feed you, like they give you the shirt off their back, even though their country technically is what you would consider third world or poured in a mug. Man, they the most nicest, most generous, most courteous people. They just from what I've seen, I haven't had a bad interaction with a Filipino person, as of late. So I can only imagine every single time that I meet a Filipino person. And I mean, that's not just synonymous with them. That goes for like Hawaiians. That goes for like a lot of ethnicities, if I'm being honest. I mean, there's a lot of places in South America or Mexico, the Latino America, the Latinos and all that. They cool too. Like if you really gonna go there, like some of them parts of Mexico and
Colombia, I hear, they got some beautiful women who are very has hospitality and
yeah,
hospitable, and of course, Colombia is a dangerous place, right?
yeah, but
Uh,
everywhere is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
But
mean, but
I hear the women there are fantastic. Same as Brazil. They just have more traditional ways than they do here in the.
traditions. Now, see, and this is a cold part, man. This is I seen this I seen this post. It wasn't a post. It was like a conversation people was having on social media about how Latinos or Latinas in particular, the women are geared toward being a wife, and black women are geared for being strong and powerful, and moving up in the world, being CEOs and boss, ladies and all that.
Right.
But the Latinas, you rarely see them calling themselves that on a, as a whole. Like that's not their image, but they are hospitably, trained or geared, or their culture is still intact enough to where they value, I'm a wife and not just a side piece, for the most part. Now, the new generation, it could be a little bit more flex in that, because the influence is out there. But traditionally, they were intact a lot more than the sisters was, unfortunately, when it comes to being trained up to be a wife, I would
So
say.
I'm gonna start some stuff with you now.
Go ahead.
Are you saying that there is an issue with Western women and how they view family?
Well, I'll say this. I won't blame the women. I won't blame them necessarily because I understand it is a blueprint. Like I said, there's an actual, like Willie Lynch letters. I'll put it out there. Willie Lynch letters explained in no uncertain terms. This is how you take control of the family, is to devalue the man and elevate the woman. She's the weaker sex. She's more docile. If you get control of her, she'll get control of the kids for you. And therefore, you got grip on the whole family. And you move that man out of the position of power and influence. So that's the Willie Lynch letter. He was an absolute racist, and he trained slave masters on how to create slaves. And it was to empower the black woman. That was his theory. You can read it, Google it, all that. So the fundamentals of that is in play today with CEOs being empowered by their, counterparts being Caucasian, and they, yes man for him, to make his business boom and bust, and they'll bark on any brother that look like he trying to rise up. You know what I mean? Real quick. Not all of them, but I'm just saying there's a formula out there to where the vice president, oh, she's supposed to be a black woman. Oh, we happy about that, right? But she married to who? And then the Supreme Court justice who just got put up there, Supreme Court, boom, she's married to who, right? So they both Caucasian, and this is a formula, is what I'm saying. So Western way of doing things, yes. On the surface, it looks like, oh, black people as a whole are coming up. No, that could be a Caucasian person dipped in chocolate. And you can tell if that family structure is shaky. And by the looks of it, when you marry outside of your people, then you already know what time that is to some degree.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Sean B, you had a question for me in the last video. What was your question, sir? You said two-part question. I can't hardly hear you though.
a two-part question.
Yeah, we were talking about going someplace. We're talking about polygyny. Do you remember the question?
Not at this moment. If it pop up, I'm gonna ask you that.
All right. Yeah. You know, first of all, they said that that was a myth. There is no such person as a Willie Lynch. Now, it could be some kind of corporation or high society people, and they put their name as Willie Lynch on there, but they said there's no such person as Willie Lynch, Black. So
First off, who is they? And I heard that too. But who is they? Who said that?
Well, I mean, if you heard it, then you know who they is, right? I mean, it's not anyone in recorded history with that name.
Well, what I'm saying is they is nobody. That's the point. Nobody said that, so we shouldn't even bring that up. That's not a valid point.
Well, it is valid. If that person didn't exist, then you do have to question it now.
Why we question if they exist? Because nobody said it. Why are you listening to nobody?
What do you mean nobody said it? I didn't say nobody.
Nobody
said it.
is they.
Oh, you made that definition. Nobody is they.
Well, who is they? You said they said it. Who is they? You explain that. Break that down.
Historians.
Okay, who? Name them.
I don't know their name.
All right,
right off the bat.
They ain't nobody. Don't worry about that. Move on.
So, hey, can we catch me up right quick? What are we? What's the topic here? What are we?
We're just talking about what we talked about last time. We got 2 minutes left. About relocating and things like that. Would you consider a place like Uganda or Philippines, Sean?
I definitely would. I definitely have. I guess for me, when it comes to relocating, I want to be near clean water. I want to be somewhere where it's not a tyrannical government or a shyster sort of government. I want things to flow copacetically, safe, clean. So that's just me, though.
Yeah.
I've considered Rwanda.
Yeah, that was on my list too. I think I failed to mention that last time, but yeah, that was on my list. That was high on my list actually. Was Rwanda. That I actually like Rwanda. I like Uganda too. I like Ghana. Just the countries that really seem to embrace foreigners. I dig all of those. But well, we ran out of time again. Maybe Sean B on another episode can think of his questions. But we will catch y'all in the next one. Thanks for joining. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. Catch you in the next one. Peace.
Shalom.